Let's talk about an assessment. How do we assess our Connect to Create discussions? This would be especially relevant to instructors and or researchers that are really looking at the engagement. And that is actually what we call our assessment area with the check mark here is engagement. Because really when we're looking at all the discussion and links and references and resources and how people are interacting and collaborating, depending how we're setting up the course, and this is not going to be about methodology here, we'll have other videos on that. This is simply just how do we do it. We would actually measure the engagement. That's what we're doing, and we usually would set up some rubrics and expectations of what we're expecting from our community on how they engage, the timeliness, and we try to provide some of the quantitative measures for that. Now, granted, at the same time, you're going to look at the qualitative, the actual text that people are writing also to assess. And so we can do quick searches on individual people and very quickly assess based on our rubric and our expectations of the course. And the engagement feature also gives you a very quick search of an individual person or participant. So let's talk about general engagement. We would click on engagement, and as I've said many times in a number of the videos, the students or participants would end up seeing their name against the mean and or standard deviation. However, you as the administrator and instructor of this course or the environment in general will at first come to what are the participants and some generic measures that we have with all the participants on the side. So as we look through this, we have total logins, forums worked in, which of course you would know how many forums your participants should be working in, given that you might divide them up into groups and thus not everybody is working in 100% of the forums. So these are things that you know as you're setting it up. How many notes have they read or created and replies and new notes? These are all measures that we need to look at as we move through a course and set standards right at the beginning of the course and model that as we do our first couple of weeks. Now, these are not the only measures you're going to want to have, so we can actually look at select measures. C2C offers a very rigorous amount of measures that you can choose of depending how you're setting the course up. So at the beginning of the course, typically we would want to know if they've logged in, so we often keep track and go back to this engagement and click on all of our students that are automatically in our course, and we might turn off some of the other features that aren't needed and just take a look at the first login, and it just gives us very quickly what that is. By the way, at any point in time you can highlight this table and copy and paste it into an Excel sheet. Here we have notes read, forums worked in. The references by others or references by this user's to others notes starts to give us measures of how much somebody has dragged that link from another note that they're referring to, or how many times somebody else has dragged a note from somebody else into their note. And if we want to encourage that kind of discussion and collaboration, we need to ensure that we're telling our students definitely do this kind of dragging and show them that at the beginning, because we're tracking that, and that's going to be a measure of collaboration. Replies, direct replies, new notes, how many threads were initiated sometimes gives us a little bit of a measure of, wow, how many notes is that new note that somebody has created has initiated so much discussion. Granted, we're always looking at the qualitative components of what the notes actually say, but at least this gives you a little bit of the quantitative. We're going to come back to score as you go. Search. We can do exactly the same thing, except we can search in very specific forums with very specific one or more people and from a very specific start date to end date. Let's say week 1 to week 2, and I only want this person from that period of time with these specific measures. Finally, we have an overview that just is a tally and cumulative that gives you the overall stats of the course and how many notes that we have in it.